Hi everybody, Alec Peirce at the ranch. Today we're going to talk about water. Water. Now, trust me on this, maybe not in my lifetime because that's only 10 years or so, but in the future, water is going to become the most valuable commodity in the world, assuming the world is still here. Gold, forget it. Platinum, not in, diamonds, no. Oil, no. Water. I think some of you know what I'm talking about. Wait for it. Now, water even now is very important, particularly if you live in the country. We don't have water mains. If we want water to wash and to drink and to cook and to feed water the animals in the gardens and so on, we have to get that water. And in the country, what you do is you drill a well. Normally you would drill a well. A 6-inch, you put a pipe down a long ways down. Our house well is 160 feet deep. 160 feet, that's right. And way down at the bottom, there's a submersible pump. It's a long, thin pump, hydro, driven by electricity. Sits down there, long pipe comes up into the house, and essentially, to make it simple, you open the tap, pumps water into the tap, and then you shut it off. It's just about that simple. We don't like to use the house water for watering gardens or the animals and so on, because the house water costs money to pump and so on, but also it goes through a water treatment system, ultraviolet light and softener and so on, and those systems work on a volume basis. So if we water the horses or the gardens or the lawns, whatever we do with the water from the house, all of that water going through there is measured by the water treatment system, and it assumes that we're drinking or having a bath or a shower, and it sort of comes on more often. We just don't need it. So quite some time ago, I have a windmill. I think you maybe have seen that in some of my videos. So quite some time ago, we put the windmill up, and before we put it up, we dug a well. We didn't drill a well, we dug a well. There's a big difference. The well underneath our windmill here is 30 inches in diameter, not 6, 30 inches in diameter, lined with cement tile. They're called tiles, a big cement pipe. And it's down 50 feet. There's no way you can dig a well to 160 feet, not easily anyway. So it's 50 feet down, big pipe, a lot of water in there. So you can pump a long, long time. You can water the gardens and the chickens, you can hear them, and the horses, and you water a lot of water down there before the water level drops very much. And so that worked really well, and we erected the windmill over it, and the windmill is connected to a pump. We can pump water. But I wanted to have access to that water quickly and easily. I didn't want to have to run over here with buckets to water the horses, trust me on that. So I installed a pretty interesting hydrant system. It has to be a hydrant system, and I'll explain the difference in just a moment, because here, where we live, here in Ontario, Canada, it gets cold sometimes, yeah, like minus 20 degrees. And if you don't have a hydrant system where the water is underground and protected, then it'll freeze. So after I got the well dug, I put a submersible pump. And the submersible pump pipe comes up to what's called a pitless adapter. It's just a special fitting on the side of the well, about 6 feet down under the ground, and it goes through the side, and the pipe comes out underground. So the water never actually gets to the surface, so it won't freeze. And that's all automatic. It's connected to a pressure switch, and there's actually a pressure gauge. I think we have a picture of that to show you. And that's simple. That stays in the well all the time. Electrical wire and so on. The water, what happens to the water? All right, so the water goes underground like this. All right, Kevin, now you got to follow me. Okay, so the water comes, there's a pipe 4 or 5 feet down where it won't freeze, and it comes over here to this post. And here's a 6x6 pressure treated post, and this post goes down about 8 feet. That's right, into the ground. We dug a big hole here with a backhoe, you see, about 8 feet down. And then the pipe came into that hole, a bunch of gravel, but a big, not a half a load, but a whole bunch of gravel at the very bottom. And then we put in what's called a hydrant, just like a fire hydrant. Same principle, not as big. These hydrants that you use, and a lot of you guys know this already, but a lot of you may not. So this is a hydrant. And what a hydrant is, very simply, is a water tap. Just like a water tap on a wall. Yeah, water comes out, right? Except that the actual tap, the thing that turns the water off or opens to let the water flow off, on, that particular mechanism is 8 feet down. Well, 6 feet, in this case, 6 feet down. Below the freeze line, below the frost line, so it never freezes, you see? This long pipe is empty. It has a rod that goes down through there. So when I pull the handle up, what happens is the handle, there's a long pole, a long metal rod that goes down 8 feet down, and it opens the tap. And water flows through that pipe and comes out through the hydrant. Let me show you. Okay, I'm going to turn this open now. Watch. Nothing happening, right? Now lift the handle, water. so I can have water spraying out. I have water hooked up to a little hose for cleaning stuff. I have water going to the long garden hose. We're all set to go, just that simple. And the actual tap is 8 feet down in the ground, doesn't freeze. It's fantastic. And then the pipe, of course, this pipe does get full of water when you turn it on, but way down there at the bottom, there's a little hole drilled in the side of this pipe. So that when you shut the tap off, if you listen carefully, you can actually hear it. The water that's in this big pipe, this 1-inch pipe, it all drains down. It trickles down and goes out. And so the pipe is empty, 8 feet down. That's how a hydrant works. This handle on top, all that does is turn the tap on way down at the bottom. And the water comes up the long pipe, water your garden, shut it off, it drains out, and it won't freeze in the middle of winter. Now we went one step further. Down at the very bottom, there's another pipe that attaches to the bottom of this hydrant. Okay, so it's a T. Pipe comes from the well into the T. One leg of the T goes to this hydrant. The other leg of the T goes 150 feet to the barn. That's right. Just a 1-inch water pipe, buried 6 feet down, runs under the ground all the way over to the barn. And over the barn, guess what? I have another hydrant. Same as this one, very same. And that one feeds the horses, the horse trough. And again, middle of winter, -20 for a few days or a week, doesn't matter. You go out, you pull the lever, water comes out. You close the lever, the big pipe drains, and the tap way down the bottom doesn't freeze. So it's a hydrant system. Again, if some of you folks that have your own farm, you may say, well, that's no big deal. I have one like that. Maybe. The idea of putting the submersible pump into the well and the pitless adapter, to some of you, that's all old stuff. But some of you say, hey, that's pretty neat. That's right. If you have a well, you can use it with a pond if you want to. If you have a pump and a pipe coming to a hydrant, and you can have 2 or 3 of these hydrants, as you want. Whichever one you turn on, you get water, and the thing doesn't freeze up. It's pretty neat. I thought I'd share that with you. That works really well. Got a couple of pictures cut to show you as well of the hydrant down by the barn and so on. Anyway, maybe there's an idea in there for you. Hope you enjoyed that. Alec Peirce at the ranch. Talk to you soon.